A warm welcome to today's video. Today I will be predicting paper 2 of the philosophy A-level exams, specifically for AQA. Now, as I've said in my previous video, we can be less certain about what's going to come up in the 3, 5 and 12 mark questions, but we can be more certain for the 25 mark questions. I'm not part of the exam board, I don't work for AQA, and so all of these are speculation, they're just guesses to maybe guide some of your revision for the 25 mark questions specifically, but also just give you some idea what to expect. Now in 2023, for the God unit, we got a question on Swinburne and temporal order for the 3 mark question. My prediction is something about God's definition, maybe God being everlasting and God being eternal, and the differences between those two things. That was a question on the spec in 2016, so that could come up again. For the 5 mark question in 2023, we got Malcolm's ontological argument. Quite a nice question. My prediction is that we're going to get something on Descartes. Maybe the indivisibility argument, maybe the conceivability argument, maybe the ontological argument from Descartes, but just in some capacity I expect Descartes to come up. I think Descartes is going to come up quite a bit in epistemology as well, so we could see him make an appearance in some capacity for the 5 mark questions. We also got a question on Ayer and his verification principle, specifically with regard to religious language. And my prediction is we're going to get something on Hick, because we haven't had Hick come up for the last few years, so I expect Hick's theodicy to come up. For the 12 mark questions, we got a question on God's definition and the Euthyphro dilemma. My prediction, I'm not very certain with this one, maybe Paley and his teleological argument, maybe Paley's argument and a criticism of it, or something along that sort. Again, not very certain about that one. For the 25 mark question in 2023, we got a question on the cosmological argument. Now this is one I saw a prediction video on. I was pretty certain we were going to get cosmological arguments going in. We did, I got lucky, and so I had a plan. The morning of the exam I was writing plans for the cosmological argument, so I got pretty lucky there. This year, my guess is going to be religious language. If you look at the previous years, we've had the teleological argument, the cosmological argument, and the ontological argument. So we're not going to get cosmological again this year. We're probably not going to get problem of evil either. Teleological wouldn't be out the question, but because we haven't had a question yet in formal exams on religious language, that's what I expect. If you were to revise 2, if I was to suggest 2 things to really focus on before the exams, maybe this is like the morning of the exams or the evening before the exams, what should you be working on? Maybe religious language. And also, as well as religious language, possibly the teleological argument as well, because we haven't got that since 2019. Now, for the second part of the paper, in last year, in 2023, we got a question on phenomenal properties. My guess is we're going to get something that's outline physicalism as a broad brushstroke theory, or outline dualism as a broad brushstroke theory. Just a speculation though, just a guess. I'm not very certain about that. For the 5 mark questions last year, we got the differences between substance dualism and property dualism, and we also got a question on super Spartans. My 2 guesses here are about P-zombies, because P-zombies have not come up in 5 mark questions, and they're quite a good one to ask 5 mark questions about. And then possibly a 5 mark question on functionalism. Take both of those with a big grain of salt. Actually, take all 3 of these guesses with a big grain of salt, due to the difficulty of predicting lower mark questions. And then for the 12-mark question last year, we got problems of other minds. This it made sense when we got this. I didn't know we were going to get it, and I hadn't even predicted that we were going to get it, but it made sense because problem of other minds hadn't come up before. This year, though, it's a bit more difficult. Maybe we'll get something like Descartes' conceivability argument and an issue of that. But these questions here, I'm not certain of. Now, the 25-mark question I'm more certain of. Last year, we got a really nice question on mind-brain type identity theory. This year, I think we're going to get a question on behaviourism, given that we haven't been asked a question on that in the last few years. So that's pretty likely. You're very unlikely to get eliminative materialism. So I wouldn't worry about identity theory and materialism, eliminative materialism. I would focus my revision on behaviourism, because that hasn't come up, so that's very likely, or property dualism, because dualism did come up in 2021, but I have a feeling that given that all the other questions for 25 marks have been on materialism, we're also quite likely to get a question on dualism as well. I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching,